Broadcasting to Stoke-on-Trent and the world. This is Six Towns Radio.
Okay, been chasing him up for quite a while, but he's agreed to do this interview today. Welcome to the show, Peter Hook. How are you doing, Peter?
Not bad. I'm recovering from a cold, but I'm in with the land of the living, shall we say.
Yeah, ditto. You're back in Stoke on November the 1st. Is the Sugarmill a venue that you enjoy playing?
We had a wild time, actually, last time.
I know.
It quite surprised me. I didn't expect it. And I suppose I'm getting a bit old for moshing in the pit, but it was wonderful to behold. So, yeah, it was great. I mean, it's one of those odd ones, really. It's always been quite a very popular gig that people talk about. So, yeah, it's nice to be there.
Yeah, and this time you're performing New Order's Movement and Power, Corruption and Lies, aren't you?
Yes, we are. It's part of my crusade to play every track I've ever recorded and written before I shuffle off to join Ian in the great band in the sky.
Yeah. Does that mean you'll end up playing Monaco stuff eventually?
Yeah, we will. I mean, we're already planning Low Life and Brotherhood for September next year, and then after that it'll be Monaco, Revenge, Technique, won't it?
Movement and Power Corruption are quite old now, of course, and they must be like new songs to you now, playing some of them, because you haven't played them for that long.
Yeah, because they've been so sort of soundly ignored by New Order.
Yeah.
They sort of fell into the Joy Division category, actually, which is like 30-odd years. I mean, it's quite sad, because when we were together as New Order, there was always a marked reluctance to play anything other than the hits, which was a bit of a frustration, shall we say, on my part. And one of the freedoms that you get, you may not have the name anymore, but at least you do get to indulge yourself in playing the great music that people grew up with us on. We earned our place with that early stuff as well as the later stuff, and I always felt it was a great shame that the later stuff was just ignored. And
I suppose Movement, that came out as a New Order album, as you were still coming to terms with Ian's death, so it's a Joy Division album.
Musically, I suppose you'd have to say it's a Joy Division album, but vocally it's a New Order album. The only unfortunate thing about Movement was that Martin Hannett couldn't stand our vocals and made no bones about telling us the fact. He really missed Ian, he really did, and I think he loved the music, but he just didn't feel that the vocals were on the calibre, shall we say, of Ian's. And we were very, very tentative, we were very unsure of what we were doing, and I think you can hear that in the album. Yeah. So it's actually nice to be able to deliver it, shall we say, with a bit of balls that only 34 years of being a musician can give you.
Yeah. And you got to play at Macclesfield earlier this year. Was it in a church?
Christchurch, it was called, in Macclesfield, as part of the Barnaby Festival, which is becoming an annual fixture for Mac. Christchurch, funnily enough, I was told by Ian's best man, was where Ian used to go as a kid to ensure that he got into the youth club afterwards, and he used to actually go to Christchurch. So it was actually a nice little connection. I mean, the odd thing was that Joy Division never played in Macclesfield. New Order did, but Joy Division didn't, so it was actually nice to be able to finish that off, really, because we should have played there. We practiced there, but we never played.
Yeah, a lot of people go to Macclesfield to visit his grave still.
Yeah, no, I was there not long ago myself, actually. I went on the day of the gig and said hello.
You've just come back from US and South American tours. How did the American audiences find your sets?
They loved it, funnily enough, and I was very, very happy with the reaction. I mean, it's always a bit odd because the others had just been masquerading as New Order. So we had, we did have something to prove, and I think we proved it very well. And judging by the reviews, I think we did it a very great service, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, it's different. I mean, what I'm trying to do is feature the songs as they were written and as they were played, more or less, as we wrote them. The others tend to do things a bit, shall we say, easy, take the easy way out. And I must admit that even though we're still going through our legal differences, the fact that they changed the set very little 5 years later did make me realise that, it's probably the best thing for us to be separate.
Yeah. These tapes have come out of the trash recently, including Unknown Pleasures, original demos and stuff like that. And for you, obviously it just shows how much a part of you that was at the time, because it's your handwriting on there. And
there's a checkered history to the tape story that I do have to be careful of, because Warner Brothers are actually suing Julia Adamson for non-returning of those tapes. So I do have to be careful what I say. Mm-hmm. It's a sad thing, people always think they found the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow when they come across something like that. Then spend most of the time trying to sell it back to you. And as my wife says, there's a thin line between reward and ransom. And, you do have to be very careful with what you do. And it is a great shame. It is ours. It does belong to the band, and it should be returned.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, really. It's like if I found your wallet, mate, and it had your name on, and I didn't return it, then you'd be in the same position we are.
Yeah, it's so hard, I suppose, for bands, because, especially as time goes by, record companies tighten them shackles on some of the things that they've owned, and it's difficult for bands to do things with them later, isn't it?
Well, it's difficult for anybody to do anything with it, because as soon as you put it up on the internet, it negates all your selling power, you see.
Yeah.
So you do have to find a way. I mean, we all take for granted the things the internet gives us, but you still have to bear in mind that it makes life very difficult for musicians and groups.
What about recording new material? Is that something you and the Light are going to do? Because you've been working on some stuff.
I do actually quite a lot of new material, funnily enough. I've worked with quite a few people. I've done a couple of French bands recently. I've worked with my mate Nick Hussey. I've also done a couple of experimental tracks for installations in Liverpool. So I certainly don't. I mean, maybe I'm pretty bad at promoting it, because it's on the Hacienda website, if anybody's interested. Fact 51, the Hacienda. I suppose it's not where you'd go normally to look for stuff like that, but that's I must learn to get into a bit of self-promotion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm doing it all the time. I've not stopped, to be honest.
Yeah, and your son Jack is now in the band as well, of course.
Yes, he drives me mental, but it's nice to know where your son is all the time. No, he's really good. He to me, it makes sense. Having the nearest thing to me in the world play bass.
Yeah.
Nobody could be any nearer, and I suppose in an odd way, nobody could be any further than that Turkey and New Order.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got the two ends of the spectrum, shall we say?
Definitely, and I suppose it's nice to spend a lot of time with your son, because you're a big family man.
It is. It's very nice, actually. I mean, we spend all our time arguing. He thinks he's doing everything better. Cheeky little bugger.
You'll always get that, though, now, won't you?
Definitely, and he does remind me of how I was at his age.
Yeah.
So I suppose he's got to way of getting his own back on you, innit?
You brought out the book Unknown Pleasures, Inside Joy Division, and it's been received so well. You must have been, well, I don't think you would have been surprised, because everyone wanted to know your side of the story.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the first time anybody at the group had told what I suppose you'd say is the human story. There's a lot of myths and a lot of build-up of the, shall we say, the air of mystery around Joy Division. So, yeah, I mean, it was nice to tell the nuts and bolts of it. I think that, it's inspiring for kids to realise that not everything's like X Factor. You don't just get plucked out of obscurity, hyped up for a couple of weeks, and then drop like a lead balloon.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that you do have to work, and you have to build in this business, and that was my way of showing you what you had to do, if you like.
Yeah, was it hard to reflect? Did you get writer's block? Was it just easy? How was it when you were writing?
No, I'm finding it was quite a joyous story. I mean, there was still the guilt and the pain of losing Ian, but I found it a hell of a lot easier than finding a New Order book, mate. I'll tell you that for a fact.
Yeah, I can imagine.
The New Order book is really tricky.
It's something that you're going to have to struggle with, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just that New Order's story is a little bit more painful than we say in many ways than Joy Division's was. It also incorporates a lot of financial and a lot of drug ups as well. So it's and a lot of backbiting, bitterness, as well as the joy. So it's going to be a bittersweet read. Yeah,
I saw Ralf Little recently, and he said playing you was one of his best career moments.
Well, that's strange, because he made such a job of it, and considering he was working with my ex-wife, he should have made a much better job of it, I thought. But no, he's a nice guy, Ralph. I know him of old, and he's a nice lad. So well done to him.
What did you make of the film, though? 24-Hour Party People.
No, I enjoyed it. It was a light-hearted look at things that we'd done. Michael Winterbottom thought the whole thing was a farce. Like Cash from Chaos. success from disorder, and that was how he portrayed it, and he did a great job of it. You know, he couldn't have been more different to Control by Anton Corbijn if you'd have tried. That was very serious, and his was very light-hearted, so it was nice.
Yeah. So you're coming to Stoke on November the 1st. Will people call you Peter Hook and not Peter Hook over here?
You call me what you want as long as you don't call me Shorty.
Well, we look forward to it, Peter, and thanks a lot for doing the chat
All
today,
right,
mate.
man. You take care. Bye-bye.